I'm Kristen Oakes-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
$84 million a year. That's how much Louisiana alligator farmers make from selling every part of the alligator. But what they do to protect the species in the wild is priceless.
In Livingston Parish, there's a place you could drive by and never even notice called C&M Gator Farm that releases more than 3,000 alligators back into the wild every year. That's the sound of new life, hatched with a little help. Kristen Wall works with her family at C&M Gator Farm in Livingston Parish. For 63 days, the eggs have been in this room, an incubator where the temperature is monitored closely. There's a very good reason why Wall keeps her eye on the thermometer.
If we can collect the eggs early enough in the process from when they're laid and we bring them back to the farm, we can actually control the sex of the gator based off of the temperature at which we keep the incubator. So if it is kept at 85 degrees, the turnout will be 80% females, and if it's kept at 90 degrees, the turnout will be 80% male. So we like to keep it in the middle for whenever we return them back into the wild. It needs to be kind of split sex, that way the gators can reproduce in the wild and we can continue to do this.
Mid-August begins a 3-week hatching period when Wall and her family remove about 35,000 baby alligators from their shells and to begin another year of alligator farming.
They're raised here in these barns. They're fed twice a day. They're fed real well compared to the wild. So they'll grow on this farm, they'll grow 3 times faster here than they would in the wild.
This is about how big they are when it's time to harvest, about 4 feet long. The red tape is around their mouths for my protection, so it's not used when they're in these barns. Hey, that was my windscreen! After harvest, the Walls bring the skins into this room and cover them in salt, where they sit for at least 24 hours before being packed and shipped to a tannery. But here's the really cool part about what C&M Gator Farm does. Every year, they release about 3,500 alligators back into the wild. When alligators lay their eggs in the wild, they're vulnerable to predators, bad weather, and flooding. Wall says on average, only 10% of alligators hatched in the wild survive to adulthood.
When we go and collect them and bring them back here to a safe place, we are saving so many gators, and then we're growing them to a size to where they can be released back into the wild and they're able to fend for themselves.
Like Kristen said before the story, every part of the gator is sold and used. The heads and feet are used to make collectibles. The meat is tasty, especially when you get it blackened from your favorite restaurant. And even the innards, while quite disgusting, have a use. So I was really surprised by that, you know, we know that with cattle, everything is used. We know that with pork, everything is used. To find out that everything is used with the alligators as well, and that they even have to grow them a certain length based on what folks are looking for.
Well, you know what I'm going to ask you is, what did you bring me back? And this would have been something that I really would like to see a souvenir from.
Well, there was no Chanel purse there. In fact, Chanel is no longer, no, none of that.
Belt?
I thought about bringing you a baby alligator, but then you'd have had to feed it, and no, you'd have gotten attached. That would have been bad. Next time, though, baby alligator. Whenever you get a new car, it's normal to feel a buzz of excitement. The smell, the handling, the new features.
Well, one car in St. Mary Parish has some features that seem like a bug. We sent our brave reporter Neil Maloss on to see if he could feel the sting of excitement.
Hey everybody, with me is Jude Verrett. He is both a beekeeper, you're a farmer, an exterminator. You do a lot, don't you?
Yes, I do.
He does. And I'm back with him once again because I didn't learn my lesson about yellow jackets the last time. Right over behind me, this Chevy Malibu is actually one big yellow jacket nest. Is that right?
Correct.
And how did you find out about this?
I was getting my truck service, and I gave the guy my business card, and he said, "You're the bee guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "The neighbor's got a beehive in a car." He showed me a picture. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a lost nest."
And that's, I mean, they are full in there, as you're going to see. He's already done some videos that have gone viral. You've gotten, what, 300,000 views so far on it?
It's
hard to say.
Yeah, on YouTube, 300,000.
Wow.
Yes.
And so we're going to get in there and take a look and see what they are. So we're going to get suited up and go take a look. Now, you might remember from the last time I worked with Jude that I got stung when a yellow jacket crawled down my glove. Ow. This time I'm taking extra precautions, including another pair of socks and...
This is an extreme nest, what some people would call a super colony.
Okay.
So so we're gonna put 2 suits on you. Or,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're gonna double you up.
Jude also gave me a face protector.
Look, guys, I'm a ninja.
And some of his very own homemade gloves, which I make sure to pull all the way up.
Now, Jude, one of the things I want to talk to you about is yellow jackets have a reputation of being very ferocious, but they're not super aggressive unless you mess with the nest. Is that right?
Correct. If you respect them, they'll respect you. As long as you don't bump the nest, breathe directly on them, make a vibration, they typically will leave you alone.
So unless you touch the nest, if you have one on your property that's, you know, not near your normal paths, it's fine to leave them alone. They won't come after you.
Correct.
Correct. All right. Well, let's go mess with them.
As we approach the car, it becomes obvious the nest has grown from when he got it 2 weeks ago. That entrance is on the driver's side, right where I'm going to be sitting.
Let's take a
When you
drive.
open the door, I'd go quick.
Okay.
That way you're not sitting on too many of them.
Got it. Here we go. Wow. Boy, the smell has gotten a lot stronger. And one just stung me right
at?
on my knee. So,
On your knee?
yep. Right on this side. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It'll swell up. That's fine. Oh, one just stung me on the back.
All right.
So, yeah, this is not the Uber car I called for. These passengers are pretty crazy. Let's go.
So walk through the trees, ma'am.
Well, I didn't get stung once at least. It was more like 6 or 7 times. Jude tells me to get away, which takes quite some time.
They're still on me. I've walked a good 200 feet. They're still buzzing around me. I still hear them.
So I finally got away from those yellow jackets, and I got stung a few times, but it was worth it because it was just good to see that many. And but if you have a problem like that with yellow jackets or bees or anything, you can call Jude Barrett, Stinger Exterminating, at his number. Now, one of the things, Jude, is that you're an exterminator, but you really try not to exterminate as many of these hives, whether they be yellow jackets or bees. Tell me why.
They're beneficial insects. Honeybees are obviously, everybody knows they're beneficial. I have these old gardeners like, hey, I don't have bees on my cucumbers, on my peppers, on my tomatoes. Bees typically don't pollinate those crops because the sugar content of the flower, the nectar, is not there. They're going to go to something that has a higher sugar content. So you're relying on your wasps, your bumblebees, and your yellow jackets to pollinate those.
So if you have those garden crops, if you have a garden that you like keeping pollinated, to keep those fresh vegetables around, keep those yellow jackets nearby, but not too close, so long as you don't mess with the nest, because having messed with one and gotten stung now 6, 7 times, I can tell you it's better to be hot in August in this bee suit than being stung. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm getting ready to go home and get some leave. I'm Neil Melanson.
Well, I hate to say I'm glad it was you and not me, Neil, but I do hope those stings heal quickly. By the way, Jude Barrett estimates his insect removal videos have garnered 500 million views worldwide. You can see more of his removals online, and we'll link you over to that on our website at twilatv.org.
Throughout the year, parish farm bureaus across the state host a variety of fundraisers to support the Louisiana Farm Bureau and Ag in the Classroom Foundations, which help to fund the future of Louisiana agricultural leaders.
That's why the Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish Farm Bureaus hosted the 12th Louisiana Farm Bureau Fishing Rodeo in early August. 40 participants divided into 12 teams launched from Cocoa Marina in Cocodrie in hopes of bringing back a big fish for a good cause. Prizes were awarded for the top catch in 7 categories: 3 speck stringer, redfish under 27 inches, redfish with the most spots, drum, sheep's head, flounder, and a surprise category for speckled trout.
We're here today to raise funds for our Ag in the Classroom and for the Farm Bureau Foundation that supports our scholarship, 2 very worthy causes. So all these people have gathered here today. They paid their entrance fee. We have a friendly competition going on. As you'll see in the background, we have the weigh-in going on. Everybody's hoping to have first place. Some will, some won't, but Everybody's having a great time and supporting these great causes.
Applications for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Linda and Wayne Zonbrecker scholarships will be available at your local Parish Farm Bureau office in early October. You must pick up the application from the parish office in order to apply.
To find photos from the Louisiana Farm Bureau Fishing Rodeo or to find more information on how to apply for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Linda and Wayne Zonbrecker scholarships, visit our website at twilatv.org.
Well, there's a relatively new way of growing rice in Louisiana. It's called row rice.
As Twila's Tammy Arender shows us, several rice farmers in northeast Louisiana are partnering with the LSU Ag Center to advance this new technique.
Jason Waller has been farming in northeastern Louisiana his entire life. He's been farming rice in Morehouse Parish for over 20 years. He's now experimenting with a relatively new way to grow the grain.
There was a 26% water savings on the row rice versus the paddy rice.
This rice is flowering and pollinating right now.
Waller is partnering with the LSU Ag Center and helping them with research on the non-traditional growing method.
It's really become a money saver for us, and that's really why we're doing it. You know, farmers really look for different ways to save money, and also conservation's a big part. So we're conserving water. We're really, it's really good practice.
But it's a good alternative crop. Now, it's not going to replace paddy rice, regular rice. It's not going to replace that. It's just going to be an alternative for us.
Dennis Burns with the LSU Ag Center says row rice farming started several years ago in Missouri and Arkansas. It's just recently caught on in Louisiana.
It rotates well on our heavier clays that are irrigated. Works really well. You have to rotate it because of weed problems.
So normally in a paddy rice field, we've got about 7% of those acres are in levees. So we're adding that 7% back to the field. We're picking up yield there, but I haven't really seen an issue with yield at all.
Fits in well in a minimum till situation that we have in northeast Louisiana on our heavy clays.
Burns says there are about 5,000 acres of row rice in the Bayou State, and the bulk of that in northeast Louisiana. But he says there could be more converts as the research continues to the row rice as opposed to the paddy rice that you see behind me because of the water savings and the flexibility to rotate with other crops. I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
The LSU Ag Center research is looking at yields on the row rice varieties and when it is best to apply fungicides and fertilizers. Kristen, college students are making their way to campus this week, moving in. So do you miss at all walking amongst the stately oaks at LSU?
I have to say, especially this time of year, I miss it a lot because there wasn't as much responsibility in life. There was always people around.
You didn't have to adult as much.
You don't, yeah, exactly. You don't have to adult as much. But I will have to say that as expensive as college is now compared to when I was there, I surely don't miss paying for college. And it's really expensive, as I said. If you're thinking about how to pay for college next year, then you should think rice. The National Rice Month Scholarship Video Contest is here, and it's really easy to participate. If you're a high school student in Arkansas, California, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, or Texas, you can submit a 3-minute video that creates awareness and promotes U.S.-grown rice in September, National Rice Month, and also the importance of rice to your state. 3 scholarship prizes are awarded, with the grand prize winner receiving $4,000 as well as a trip to the 2019 Rice Outlook Conference for the award ceremony. To learn more about the contest, head on over to our website at twilatv.org.
Coming up after the break, I think you're going to show us what's blooming on the bayou, Kristen.
That's right, Avery. We'll visit the LSU Ag Center's Botanic Gardens at Burden to learn how to become a better gardener.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito right here.
I got a fish! I got a fish!
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry covering half our state, all of our hearts.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blooming on the Bayou. And once again, we're at the LSU Ag Center Botanic Gardens at Burden. And this place is a garden lover's dream location. Did you know that the LSU Ag Center has a program that can help you learn more about gardening and give back to your community at the same time? In this month's Blooming on the Bayou, we're going to learn all about the LSU Ag Center's Master Gardener program, and we're going to tell you how you can find a location that offers the same program in an area near you. Well, joining me now to talk a little bit about the Louisiana Master Gardeners program is Ms. Mary Tozan. And Mary, you are one of the past presidents of the East Baton Rouge Parish Master Gardeners Association, which is very active and very involved. Tell me a little bit about the background of what Master Gardeners is.
Master Gardeners started back in 1994. So far there have been about 3,500 Master Gardeners trained in Louisiana. The purpose of the program is to assist the ag centers, the land-grant colleges around the country in providing services, education to the general public.
Tell me about some of the educational parts of it that you go through. I noticed we talked about that they're in class right now.
Right.
And so you learn about
mostly from the professors at LSU, which is wonderful. It's like the stars are giving you the content of their most recent research, and there's specialists in each area. I never knew that there was a specialist in grass, for instance, in insects, ornamentals, vegetables, soil, all sorts of different things that each of the LSU professors specialize in. Professors as well as other people come in and discuss their particular specific content area. So you learn a great deal in the class, but that's just the beginning. That just scratches the surface. You really learn once you start implementing. So in addition to the paid staff at the Ag Center, we volunteers have been trained with research-based information to go out and supplement the work of the county agents. Once a person goes through the training, the volunteer, the student, commits to 40 hours of volunteer work in the first year and then 20 hours of volunteer work thereafter to remain an active Master Gardener.
Okay, so when we talk about all of the volunteer activities that you're required to do as part of the Master Gardener program, tell me about some of the different areas in the community that you guys go out and serve.
We will go out to schools and manage school gardens. So we have a library series of many of our Master Gardeners will do short presentations, and there's usually 2 a night for the general public. In addition to that, we do plant health clinics. Those every first Saturday at the farmers market downtown. We'll do a plant health clinic, and then at various nurseries where our people will go sit at a booth, and it's an opportunity for the public to bring in their broken plants, their diseased plants, their yellow plants, right, whatever, or just any questions, and we have our plethora of research as well as trained staff who will help them figure out. Every volunteer activity is not only a service, but it's an additional learning opportunity. So the more we do, the more we learn.
Well, you sound like that you're extremely passionate about this program. How did you get started in this?
Oh my goodness, that's a good story. After I retired, I took the class at La House. My purpose was to learn how to quit killing my plants. And Dan Gill, who is a wonderful, wonderful horticulturalist, got up in front of the class and said, if you're not killing plants, you're not gardening. So the biggest lesson I learned is to just accept it. It's going to happen. But we still, of course, want as much knowledge as we possibly can to reduce that, but it is a natural part of plant life.
I love that quote because that is true. You're not doing anything if you're not, it's part of life.
It is, it's part of life.
We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other benefits of the Master Gardeners program, including y'all's plant sale, which is a big fundraiser. So stay with us.
Before you sweeten your morning joe, before the icing on the cake, before the sugar hits the shelf, it begins with a family of sugarcane farmers dedicated to growing Louisiana for more than 220 years. The Sugarcane Growers of Louisiana, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane. Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
Welcome back to Blooming on the Bayou, and we're at the Botanic Gardens here at the Burden Center, and I have another special guest with the Master Gardener program. That's Kathy Mayer, and Kathy, you're in charge of the plant sale, which is a big program for the East Baton Rouge Parish Gardeners. Tell me all about it.
Well, the program's been going on a long time. The plant sale started way before I got here, and it will end way after I am here. And it's been going on for as long as we've had Master Gardeners out here. You can talk to some of our more experienced gardeners who've been with us a very long time, and they will tell you that they had these plant sales in their own homes before they actually moved out to Burden. And basically it's to raise funds for all of our programs in the community. Every year we put on this plant sale. It's ended up to be a huge endeavor. I mean, by the time we start usually in early fall, like around at the end of September, beginning of October, and we go 6 months until we have the plant sale. And in that time, we are raising plants, taking cuttings, getting them in misting, rooting them, putting them out on the shade yard, then into the greenhouses to keep them warm enough. And it is just one huge work effort on part of all of our Master Gardeners. And we do very well. The plant sale is a huge moneymaker, and the people in the community seem to love it. They look forward to this plant sale because you're going to get plants you can't find in the nurseries.
Right.
You're going to get plants that are kind of rare. you're going to get plants that you know will do good here because they are growing here. They're grown right here at Burden Gardens, and they just tend to acclimate a lot better to the climate.
You mentioned that you guys start in October. It's not something that you go pick up some plants from a wholesaler and you sell them in March. Tell me about how it's an educational thing for the people that are involved in Master Gardeners too.
Well, what's really great about it is you start with these little cuttings off of plants, and then you stick them in soil and they go into misting until they start forming their little roots. And then as they get big enough, we bump them, as we call it, to a little bigger container, and then they get bumped again to another container. And the reason that it's so educational is because you can take classes until you're blue in the face, but that is way different from actually doing the process and learning. I mean, it is just a complete difference. And I've learned so much because it seems just like children, each plant has its own way of wanting to grow. So they don't require all the same things. Some like a little drier, some like a little wetter. Some don't like misting at all. They want to just be out on the shade yard and just let them do their own thing. And you learn that through the years. What I love about it is the people. I mean, you can do all the plants in the world you want, but if you don't have those wonderful people around you, that is what's exciting. And I've met so many great Master Gardeners.
That's what's going to be my next question. You must have been able to read my mind, is what was your favorite part of it? And so you like dealing with the people as you're growing the plants and creating a product to sell to customers.
Right, I like the people. And that's what keeps me being a Master Gardener, because you meet some of the most wonderful people you've ever met in your life. They are very generous of spirit, they have a great empathy for others, and they want to do whatever they can to help you. This is not something you find everywhere, so it's really great.
So, well, we've missed the plant sale for this year, but tell me about when the 2020 plant sale will be.
It's next March, March 21st. So mark it on your calendars now. Plenty of people already have, so.
Okay, and if you're interested in joining the Master Gardener program, we put a link on our website, twilatv.org, to where we'll give you all the information and information on the plant sale. And you can also, you guys have a Facebook page, correct?
Yes, East Baton Rouge Master Gardeners Facebook, and there's also Louisiana Master Gardeners Facebook page.
Well, thank you, Mary, thank you, Kathy, for giving us all of this information. You guys have a wonderful program. Thank you so much for sharing this with Blooming on the Bayou. We'll see you next time on Blooming on the Bayou. Again, to learn more about the Master Gardener program, visit our website at twilatv.org. And while you're there, let us know what you'd like to see featured on next month's Blooming on the Bayou.
Looked like y'all had a good bit of fun out there.
It did, and it's a great program. If I wish I had some extra time to participate in it.
Yeah, the Master Gardener program can be a little intense.
It's very, you learn a lot, and it's a lot of community service hours that go into it, but it's a great program. Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when we'll take a look at how all this wet weather is affecting harvest for most crops and planting for sugarcane.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We post all of our stories there.
For all of us here at Twila, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.